All right, Gentle has entered the contest. Let's discuss. So Gentle comes into the contest with Pursuit Passive, Bleed Immune, Indestructibility, and Muscle Mass. And this dude has a great kit and great utility. And we're going to get into all of that. But first, we got to discuss his combo. What is his combo like? Well, when I was playing him, his combo was relatively easy. He wasn't clunky to play. There wasn't no like trick to playing him. He literally was just perfectly fine to play. I had a good time playing this guy. Like, it was really, really fun and entertaining. And this dude is tanky. He had so much abilities and stuff in his kit. And his damage, I wasn't expecting him to like be tanky and also have a lot of damage in his kit. And the great thing about it is he kind of doesn't need to be awakened, but of course, awakening him is also very beneficial. But overall, he's really easy to play and he's a great time, and he does massive damage with no trick to his playstyle or anything. He's just fun and easy to play. But what are his strengths? Let's discuss his strengths before I start talking that crazy stuff. One of his strengths is double attack rating. Mixing Daunted and Reverb can do kind of crazy damage with him, and it's really relatively easy to do. He also, it has a way to counter, someone who's stun immune, so because he goes unstoppable and indestructible and can do that crazy damage. So you don't have to rely on or worry about a champion who's stun immune, because this dude's going to take care of it. He's also a great counter for Bullseye. We all know how annoying Bullseye is in Battlegrounds, and this dude is going to counter Bullseye really, really well. Trust me on that. Like, I would take him up just for that ability alone, in my opinion. And last but not least, this dude is tanky. Like, as a defender, he is going to be a problem to kill on defense, only because he got so much health. You're definitely going to need the right counters to counter this guy. And as you can see, look at him tank damage from Domino. He's just a tanky champion. But he does have some weaknesses, though. One of his weaknesses is a champion who doesn't crit. If they don't crit, they're going to do really well against this guy. Like, he has good physical resistance, but champions that don't crit, that counter his physical resistance. Another thing that counters his physical resistance is energy damage. Any champion that can do energy damage is going to be really, really good against this guy. Just so you know, so keep that in mind. And another one of his weaknesses is unstoppable counter. Anyone that can put a slow or that is good at counting the unstoppable is going to be really good against this guy, because he's kind of reliant on his unstoppable, and without it, you will be able to do some significant damage. So, but trust me, I'm gonna use Valkyrie for him. What are his immunities? Well, he only really has one immunity. He's bleed immune, and I feel like that can come in handy. So he's immune to bleed, and that's about it. He doesn't really have any other immunities, so keep that in mind when playing him. Let's talk about when he's awakened. So let's talk about his awakened ability. If you awaken this guy, you can reduce the health loss when fighting, finishing a special attack that max stacks of muscle mass by 50%. While unstoppable, this damage reduction is increased by 50%. While unstoppable, special attacks cause 10% less power. The potency is doubled against skill champion and gain 45 block penetration per muscle mass. So again, I don't really think he needs to be awakened. Like every champion in the game, he does benefit from his awaken ability, but I don't know if I would awaken him right away. I think he's perfectly fine as is. His prestige is 27,300, so he doesn't have best prestige as a 7-star rank 3, 6,200. But again, I didn't really think he needed his awaken ability. It will help though. What is this guy like on defense? And I said it before, this dude's going to be tanky on defense. He's going to be a problem. He has so much health. He has that unstoppable and that indestructible. So yeah, he's going to be kind of a monster. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Thanos, Deathless Thanos a little bit. Just a tanky defender with a lot of damage, and even his specials can be a little bit tricky to dex. If anything, I think you should push him to an SP2 just to be on the safe side, because I feel like his SP2 might be a little bit easier to dex in my opinion. But maybe that's me. But yeah, like your usual counters like Hercules, Archangel aren't going to really do that well. Torch will work for him though, because Torch has the energy damage and the power stings. But yeah, he's going to be a tricky defender and a tanky defender, and I definitely recommend putting some unstoppable counters in your deck, as well as some champions who don't crit or champions that do energy damage. As you can see right here, I'm using Valkyrie. Valkyrie's going to be really good against this guy, even though she would have class disadvantage. She can still handle unstoppable really well, and she doesn't have to worry about it, and she will be able to crit through the block. So it should be fine against him. But again, I would suggest pushing him to an SP2. That's just my opinion. What is his stat focus? The two stat focus I would recommend for him is critical damage rating You could also put block proficiency because, you know, you have to block with the stuns, and as well as energy resistance, because if you're going to use him offensively or use him defensively, having energy resistance, which is one of his main weaknesses, could be really beneficial in my opinion. So those are the three I would definitely recommend if you're going to put stat focus on him. The recommended relics I would use for him is one of them being the Gambit relic. I think Gambit relic will really, he already has high physical resistance and critical resistance. So getting that even more, getting extra damage for the for his high stake game could be really beneficial. And the Sinister relic, you can it's another avenue to trigger his pursuit by inflicting inflicting bleed on himself when he's already bleed immune. So yeah, keep that in mind. The Masteries I would recommend for this guy, I think he'll do good with Liquid Courage and Double Edge, and also the Recoil Mastery. So I think he'll be okay for the damage masteries. He can't heal from throwing a special, but with his own ability, each point increases the potency of the Daunted and his the Recoil gives. So that's not really bad in my opinion. He's immune to bleed, so that's really beneficial. He's only not immune to poison, but the willpower could definitely help with that ability, just so you know. And last but not least, what are my overall thoughts on this guy? Well, overall, I think he's great. I really, really like him. Like, his pros are he's great in BGs, he has great utility, he's fine on Awaken, and he's great with the damage masters. You can't add, like, that's really, really a great stat sheet for him. His cons is he's kind of AI dependent with the muscle mass. He has, you got to play a little bit aggressive to really get all those muscle mass. His specials are easy to dex, especially his SP2, and he kind of has a slow ramp. But with that being said, I definitely feel like his pros far outweigh his cons because he brings so much to the table. He's definitely like a little bit of a watered down version of Deathless Thanos if I had to compare the two. Like, they both gain Unstoppable, they both have high damage, so I would definitely say that he kind of reminds me of Thanos. I'm not going to say he is Thanos. I mean, Deathless Thanos is in a league of his own, but this dude, he brings a lot to the table, really a lot, and I think he is worth all your rank up resources except for the Awaken. If you get a 7-star Awakening gem, I don't think I will use it on him because I believe he's fine on Awaken. I don't think his Awakening ability is worth a generic. Like, I would much rather you dupe him in a crystal than to use an Awakening gem, even a Mutant Awakening gem. And then if you do awaken him, wouldn't recommend putting 6 stones on him. Not that he doesn't need it, I feel like he would need it, but I feel like those 6 stones are better used elsewhere because his Awakening ability is okay, but it's not necessarily easy, or not easy, it's not needed for 6 stones in my opinion. But hey, that's just my opinion. You know, feel free to do whatever it is you want with your 6 stones and your rank up gems, but I personally wouldn't do it. But overall, I think this champion is great, and I think he's gonna definitely help a lot of people in battlegrounds and content and war, all kinds of content. This dude's gonna be a very valuable resource in the game. So yeah, I think Kabam did a good job on this one, and I like this champion. Really well done. But let me know your thoughts below. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of the champion. But if you did like this video, please hit that like button. And for anyone new here, if you can hit that sub button, I'll greatly appreciate it. Y'all take care. Have a great and wonderful day.